Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Thursday, January 15th. It is 6:28 right now. We got market opening up in about 2 minutes. If you guys are looking to take the breakout for today, it looks like it's probably going to be, but I can't really say because we have a pending momentum right now. So depending on how this candle right here closes, if it closes with the buy signal, then it's likely to be a sell. If it closes without the buy signal, then it's likely to be a buy. So, all right, guys, looks like people are still making their way in, but let's just get started with this real quick. So, just a reminder before we get started, I am registered with the CFTC and NFA as a professional trader, commodity trading advisor. Futures trading involves substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. You can lose more than your initial investment, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This stream is for information and educational purposes only. Nothing shown or discussed is a solicitation to buy or sell any futures contract or to participate in any trading program. I may hold positions in the market as discussed, but my views may change at any time based on market conditions. And if I show any hypothetical or backtested results during this stream, just understand that they have significant limitations and do not represent actual trading. So, all right, if you guys are looking to take the breakout, it's likely to be a sell because we do have a buy signal which came up right here and closed. So if you guys are looking to take that, again, it's going to be a sell. This is going to be tricky because we had some high impact news in the morning, and this can either come up to fill this little gapped area or it's going to come back down to continuation right back below. So it's going to be a sell if you guys are looking to take it. Not taking it myself, as we talked about in the past. I don't really take a breakout anymore. It's just not one of those trades that I typically feel comfortable taking because of the slippage. There's just a lot of reasons not to take the breakout for me specifically, but if you guys want to take it, obviously feel free. So, all right, guys, market is now open. As you guys can see, price is pushing up quite a bit. So like I said, this is exactly what I just mentioned, right? I said price is either going to push up right now and fill this gapped area, or it's going to come down in continuation to the downside. So very tricky right there with regard to the direction of price. We've talked about this yesterday in the past couple of days. We said if there's a lot of high impact news prior, then it's something to skip. So I think Paul probably skipped it, right? Yep. So we talked about this yesterday. Hopefully you guys, I mean, all of you guys talked about it yesterday, and you mentioned um, about, how you should or how would you like to skip certain trades. And this is one of those that obviously you would have skipped because there was high impact news prior. So let me see. Okay, we had jobs data over here. So we had jobs data. We had the Fed. We had a lot of stuff here. Um, and that's pretty much all the news for today, it looks like. Well, there's low impact stuff, but for the most part, all the high impact stuff is done. So you guys can see all the news here was positive, right? So you could have expected price to spike up, obviously, if price was to correct to where it needed to go to. So all the jobs data here, it was all high impact, all positive. So obviously price pushed up. So it'd be a really bad decision to take a sell there, of course, because if price went where it was supposed to, then then obviously it was going to go up. So I didn't take the trade there again. Looks like most of you guys here did skip it. Hadas actually took the buy, so nice work, Hadas. Um, yeah, Paul skipped it. Morning, Lila. Morning, everybody. Morning, Masij. Morning, George. Morning, everybody. So one thing that Steven mentioned to me yesterday, he said that, let me just read the message. Um, Yeah, so Steven said literally every trade he's been taking on gold is a loss. All KT members should take the opposite of what I take each time using a big lot. Is it possible if we can set up a copy for this? I'll send you a screenshot of my results. You will see that every single time I use a big lot, trade goes in the opposite direction. So I mean, I actually gave Steven this idea a long time ago because if you guys have been in the group for a while, I mentioned that Steven's really good at picking losing trades. I don't know why, but he's really good at picking losing trades with gold. And I said, if you want to do well, you should probably just trade opposite of what you're doing. Like whatever you trade, do that on a demo account and and just have your trade copied to your actual accounts doing the opposite direction. So he's starting to realize that that's the case. Uh, yeah, exactly. Masich said so. Go against his analysis. Yeah, basically. I mean, so yeah, I know you've only been around for a little while, Masich, but Steven, he's been around for almost, I mean, 6, maybe 8 years now. For some reason, he's really good at picking losing trades for gold, and yeah, I don't know. I kind of joked around with him and told him, you should probably just take the opposite trades, and he actually did that for a while, and he did really well. And then obviously, if you're doing something that you don't like to do, like if you're trading a strategy that you don't like to trade, um, you stop doing it even though it works. So he's starting to realize again that it does work, and that's kind of what he is referring to, or he's advising that people should probably do the opposite of him. So we'll see. I know he's gonna think about it, and I just don't know how he'll give us. I mean, we'd have to connect this to some kind of copier, of course, for anybody who's interested in that. Let's see. Talon, you said might be relevant to be aware when breakout momentum prints or flickers within 3 minutes of open. We used to observe at 6:28. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you, Solange. Like we've talked about this before, the flickering momentum is really important. And obviously there's flickering momentum right before market open right there. If the flickering momentum keeps coming up, it's likely to push in that direction, right? Yeah, it's likely to push in that direction. So maybe that's some if you guys want to trade or if you guys want to improvise with the breakout, if that's something you like to apply, um, take that into consideration, right? If you see a flickering momentum right before, price is likely to spike in that direction, right? So that's just something to be aware of. So let me change the algo over here. First algo entry is going to be at 6:43. It's going to be in about less than 10 minutes. Let's see. So this right here was an MPS V2, which just came up, guys. I don't know if anybody looked to take it, but there was a higher high right here. So obviously it's not one that I personally was looking to get into. I mean, if you guys are looking to get into it, by all means, feel free to take the trade, but it is obviously not one that I'm personally looking to get into because there was structure up here. Right, so we have structure right there, preventing me from wanting to get into that trade. If you guys did take that trade, it looks like it's currently running, or it already hit target. It did a 40-20. So there was an MPS V2 right here, guys. The buy signal came up right here at 628. Price retraced on this red candle, came back up on the screen on for confirmation, and it pushed right through with a minimal drawdown. If you guys had decided to take that trade there, like I said, we have a higher high right here, so it's not exactly the trade I'd be looking to get into because it doesn't meet my criteria. So again, like I talked about before, guys, I'm looking for one of two things. I'm either looking for an MPS in general, whether it be a V2, whether it be a V3. I'm looking for an MPS. The other thing I'm looking for is the algo. So we have an algo entry at 643 for the 60/30. It's going to be a target entry. Has a fix this real quick. It has a max equity drawdown of 6.57, probability of 55% winning either direction, profit factor of 2.374. Um, that's going to be for the upcoming trade here. The expectancy delta is 0.35. So it's not very, very strong, but it is decent. I'm probably going to look for the other algo entries, not specifically that one, because I mean, this one kind of lines up with another one on 4020. So there's a 644 at 4020, which is a little bit later. So I mean, it could work, but again, I'm just gonna follow it and kind of see like what we can get from here. So we have a new higher high right there, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the structure here. And as it pushes up higher, I'll continue to adjust it as price moves along. All right, so we're pretty high up right now with regard to structure. Price is trying to push up to these new higher highs. Um, this price continues to move up, I'll just continue moving this with it. It's just going to continue trailing it as it creates more and more structure here. So it's pretty bullish across the board right now, obviously. It's bullish with regard to trend, it's bullish with regard to market structure, it's just bullish in general. This is where it becomes tricky because if it's so bullish, it's due for retracement, right? So I'm going to expect a flickering momentum here if we have a strong red candle come up. So right here, see the strong red candle? I see a flickering momentum possibly appear. So that's going to invalidate the 643. There we go. See the big red candle? Expect a momentum to come up soon. Let's see. So Masich mentioned earlier, it's easy. He's mentioned, I mean, it's easy to pick losing trades, not so easy to pick winners. Even if he does the opposite, price may only spike the previous stop loss and then reverse. You would have to do a one-to-one. That would work. Yeah, exactly. That's always the case, right? That's why typically for the I mean, the 1 to 2 would be the best ideal, but for the breakout, a lot of times the 1 to 1 actually works best because a lot of times it spikes, right? Like it didn't happen today. It just went straight in one direction, but a lot of times it actually spikes. So when it spikes like that, it could really stop you out before it reaches the actual direction. That's kind of what happened with us. On Monday or Tuesday, I think, when he took that one trade, we took the MPS. It unfortunately spiked us out and then it went straight to target. So, like, a lot of times, if I ever lose a trade when I'm trading, I'm typically right with the overall direction. It's just for that short little period, I get chopped out or I get spiked out. And that's just part of the game, right? It just happens. So, I mean, unfortunately, that's just the case. But, But yeah, I mean, you're still taking gamble. Either way, you're going to take gamble regardless. Um, and you can't really predict when you're going to get chopped out of a trade. Like you can be good on overall direction, but to predict getting chopped out is very unlikely. The only way to really resolve that is if you trade it on a higher time frame, right? But then you'd have to have a really wide TP stop loss, which you can do the same thing on the 1 minute, but you would just have to, I mean, obviously have a bigger stop loss in general. But I think our trade that we took on Monday, Tuesday that lost, it wouldn't matter what our stop loss was because it pulled back like I think 50 or 60 points. So regardless, you'd have to have like a huge, huge stop loss to survive it. All right, so I'm looking for a momentum signal. I'm sure it's going to come up right here because look at this candle. It's so big, right? If it doesn't come up on this candle, it's going to come up on the next one. And there we go. So the 643 entry for the algo is invalidated, guys, because of the pending momentum or flickering momentum here. If you guys want to take it again, you can take these trades at your own risk, but again, I wouldn't take them because obvious reasons here, right? Flickering momentum. So what I'm going to look for here is I'm actually going to look for a possible MPSV2. The problem with this here, though, with it being MPSV2 or MPS in general, is that we have the sessions down here, right? So yeah. But yeah, Masish, how is that? So how is I'm assuming you're taking those trades through webhook, right? Or did you just program them into NinjaTrader native? I'm assuming it's webhook because I don't think you could put like I know you had all the scripts. I don't think like yeah, let me see this right here. Let's see, Masish said no webhook. Yeah. Yeah, Masish said I'm not covering all that to NinjaTrader. Okay, so I'm assuming you're just running like a couple strategies, right? Not all of them. Or maybe you're just running one of them, like the pivots master, I guess, with all of these here. Wait. So how do you copy them to your trade then? Or do you just log into it? Is that what you do? Because I'm assuming like to take those trades, you'd have to have webhook, right? Or it'd have to be executed through webhook. Um, or is there another way? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I said wait, yes. I thought you said no to webhook earlier. Oh, you meant okay, no, I'm rereading it. You said no, yes. Like you meant no, yes, you're taking webhook. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That's exactly what I thought it was. Yeah, no, that's cool. Um, the yeah, because when you said no webhook, I was like, damn, you converted all of this to NinjaTrader. That's a lot of work. So because the script, I'm sure the code is like pretty like it's pretty in depth because there's so many strategies there. But yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm curious. So like now that you're running it, I'm gonna be curious like how much you um like what the profitability is. I know you've only been doing it for a couple of weeks, so we'll see. I guess we'll catch up with you on that. So here's the thing with I just opened up the script over here. The script is really good at identifying certain things. The only thing here that I think would be an issue for, I mean, it wouldn't be an issue because you guys would have to have the actual indicators to look at the entries. But this is good to automate and then also good to just identify what the history is, right, for the trade. Um, because what I was trying to do here and what I was trying to look at was to see like how the entries came up and stuff. But I'm glad that you did this, Message, because this actually makes more sense when you don't like I'm just gonna take everything off. Like you can see the price moving through, but you can't see the momentum and stuff like that, which I'm glad you did because that would just kind of be the purpose of having the indicators. And this backtesting script is meant to just show you that it's profitable, right? So it's good to look at. Oh, is that what it is? That's a lot of momentum signals right there. I was wondering what the arrows were, but is that like, oh, you are right. Yeah. There's just a ton of, because I was looking at it the other day and I was like, damn, there's a lot of like, oh, okay. I see what you're saying. It looks better this way though, because it's not all messy. Okay. The one thing that I didn't see here, or I'm assuming you have it right here, it's the state. Yeah, okay. So I was playing around with it trying to figure out it because the thing is I was playing around with it after the live session. You kind of have to look at it during the live session, like because that's when the volatility is high. You can see the changes happen here on the chart. Um, so I'll just use this to refer back to. But yeah, no, it's pretty intuitive with the so right now it says wait for pivots. I'm just gonna follow it to kind of see like where it ends up going and whatnot. Go back over here. Okay, so we had the sell signal right there. So it looks like that trade is currently still running, guys. There was a 643 that was running right here. This was a target entry. Yeah, it's currently still running right there. That's a first target entry for the day. Let me check. I mean, it's looking pretty decent so far. A lot of choppiness here, a lot of scary back and forth movement right there. But it looks like it's going to hit. Obviously, I'd like for it to hit there. Um, It just wouldn't be an entry for me because of the flickering momentum. So obviously I'm going to put that in the stats over here. But it's now running alongside the 40-20 entry. So let's see, 37. All right, full TP right there, guys. If you guys caught that, I mean, obviously it's a flickering momentum, so I didn't take it, but it did win right there. 38. There was a 640 entry that was right after it, or 644. This one would have gotten spiked out. This is why I don't like using the 40-20. It's a little too tight. Okay, so I've gone over pretty much. Well, I've covered all of the or all of the algo entries. Um, okay, so the 643 right here, this one hit full TP, but again, like I said, I mean, it would have been one that I would have taken, but I didn't take it because there was a flickering momentum, which was over here. I'm going to take off these labels. I feel like my chart is a little too messy. I don't like this stuff right here. Okay, let's take off the knee valley. There we go. I'm gonna try to clean it up as much as I possibly can. But anyways, so we had an entry right here at 643. The reason why I didn't take it was because there was a flickering momentum right here at 642. It was a minute before, right? And it was for a sell. So with that being the case, it indicated that the sellers were trying to push price down, but it failed to do so, obviously, because price pushed right back up. Um, so if you guys caught that right there, this was the first target entry in a long time that actually hit for um, for 60-30 algo entry. But it's okay. I'll be waiting for the next one. The next one's at 712. It actually lines up really well with the 40-21 because they have the same exact time entry. So the next two target entries actually look pretty solid. Yeah, we just have to wait and see when it ends up coming up. Let me change the settings over here. So the next one's coming up 712. Okay, there's a buy signal right here. There's no MPS V2 for me or no MPS V3 because there's no lower low here. I'm looking for there to be a lower low to be established so that I can identify the bottom, right? There's no floor here yet. Yeah, we don't have a floor here yet. Make this kind of small. But anyways, here are the statistics for the 712 entry. So it has a 9.80% max equity drawdown. It has a profitability of or probability of 50%, profit factor of 1.967. The profit factor is not super high, but overall it's a good trade in general because the statistics here look pretty decent with regards to probability. So the buys over here have a 66% probability of it winning. Sells have a 36% probability. So it's not the best, but it does line up with the 40-20. So if we do have this opportunity, I'll be looking to get into it. As long as we don't have flickering momentums over here, I think that's going to be the biggest factor, right? Now, looking over here at the ATR, ATR is currently at 42, so we do have some decent volatility in the market at the moment. I mean, obviously, we're going to wait and see, but we'll follow through with it as we get closer to the entry point. Just another reminder, guys, if you guys are new here or if you guys are watching the stream and you want to keep watching it, just make sure that you guys get on the Discord. This week, I have to take down all of the YouTube videos. So unfortunately, after today, it's not going to be available to the public. If you guys are on the Discord, though, I will post a playlist so that you guys can see the videos later because it's just supposed to be closed down to the general public, not necessarily to people who are already here. So if you guys are on the Discord, just keep in mind that I'll be posting all of the videos like basically I'll it'll be over here under the the announcements. So live trading sessions. I'll post a playlist here. We can see all the videos. Um, obviously live trading results. mentoring, etc. Yeah, it's kind of annoying that I have to take all the videos down. So this is what the YouTube channel looks like right now. Let me just show you real quick while we have some downtime. So this is what the YouTube channel looks like. If you guys can see here, I have all of these videos. So I have about 2,100 videos. Basically, majority of them are live sessions. So about basically 8 years of live trading sessions every day, Monday through Friday. Because I'm registered with the CFTC and the NFA as a professional trader, they're requiring that I take all those videos down because they don't want me sharing my strategies with the general public. But they said that I can still share it with previous people who are already on here. So again, if you guys don't have access to this, or if you guys want access to this, just make sure that you hit subscribe and turn on notifications. There's a button that's going to be right here. This will give you an email every morning telling you that I'm going live. So you can still join the live sessions, even though they're not posted to the public. I'll be able to go live, but I'll have to I have to unlist the video. So you can't search like Cody Kai Trades and then or search me and try to find me because it's not going to show up. You need like the direct link. But all right, guys, so we have a sell signal right here. There's an MPSV2 that's setting up right here. Again, it's not a trade that I'm looking to take. It's actually not even an MPSV2 because there's no trend here, which is confirmed. If you're looking for an MPSV3, this is not going to be an entry because there's no higher high right here, right? We have a higher high up here, but we don't have one right here. So with that being the case, we do have a sell signal at retracement confirmation. This is an MPS pattern, but it's not an actual entry. It just kind of depends on like how you guys are approaching it, right? Because there's different ways to approach it. Obviously, I would not take this trade here myself because it doesn't meet criteria. The one thing here that you also want to pay attention to is that we have a lower high right here. We have a higher low right here. Price is in a chop, right? It's pretty obvious that price is in a chop right here, but if you guys didn't realize that, we are in a chop. So just something to keep in mind if you guys are looking to do that. Let's see. Masih said, "Are you going to do that all manually?" I mean, unfortunately, yeah. I mean, unless you know a way to do it automatically, Masih. I know there's a way to do bulk unlist, so I'm probably gonna do it that way. There's a way to bulk unlist. I can unlist like maybe like I think like 100 or 200 videos at a time. So yeah, it's gonna take me like maybe an hour or so to do it. But yeah, there's a way to pretty much kind of do bulk unlisting for the videos. Yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah, you don't need to create a Chrome extension for me. I appreciate that though. I know you're probably thinking about some way to make it more efficient, but it's not gonna take that long. So it's doable. Yeah, because there's like 2,100 videos, so I just have to, click, basically do what your tool would have done, but just do it by hand. The thing that's going to take me a long time though is that I think it's the Instagram because I have like how many videos on there, but I don't think that it's just gonna it's annoying. I gotta basically take everything down. So what they're making me do is on the website too. Like I already have this where it says we're no longer accepting clients, but then they're like, okay, now you got to take down the FAQ and everything. Like I got to take down. Basically, I just got to delete all this stuff. I got to delete all the lower stuff so people can't find the YouTube channel. Delete all of these testimonials. Yeah. So I didn't even think this was going to be a problem. But yes, if you guys ever decide to take the professional route for trading, I would say think twice because once you register as a professional trader or as a commodity trading advisor or whatever it may be, once you get regulated in the trading space, they're like on you. They're on you like every day. They're taking screenshots of your website, they're taking videos of your YouTube, they're making sure that like you're doing everything you said you were going to do. And if you're not, they're gonna keep bothering you and they're gonna keep telling you to take stuff down. So I thought it was gonna be um I thought it was gonna be like I didn't think it was gonna be this much of a hassle, but it is a bit of a hassle when you try to take this route. It's kind of annoying because you take this route to become like legit and you don't want to like and I mean I could have done this without being registered and stuff, right? But the thing is I did this so that I could be registered and be legitimate. And whenever you try to do something legitimate, not just with trading, but just in general, there's always going to be something that makes it harder, right? It's kind of like I kind of like my friends that are in, or you guys probably know people who are like in the cannabis business, right? The marijuana business and stuff like that. Like there's people who are doing it legally and there's people who are doing it legally. People who want to do it legally and be within the law, they get so much like oversight and they have to do so much stuff and go through so many hoops and stuff. And there's people who do it legally under the table that it's just so much easier for them, right? It's same with trading and it's same with anything in general. Like even myself as a lawyer, right? There's people who try to get around to do lawyer work without actually being licensed. Um, and then when you become a lawyer or whatever it may be, then you have all this oversight and it's just like, it's super, super annoying. Let's see, Solange said, you know, you were a lawyer, but this is all necessary. I mean, yeah, it's necessary to be within their, because if I don't follow what they want, then they just take the license away, right? They say that I can't practice or I can't manage money or be a hedge fund. I mean, obviously, there's people who do it illegally. Like you probably see people advertise like money management or like trade copiers or some type of trading stuff that that obviously they're not registered to do. So if they do catch them doing that, they'll get in trouble, of course. So yeah, if I don't take down all this stuff, like I don't take down the website, I don't take down the YouTube and stuff like that, then they're just gonna take away my trading, my financial license. Or not, they won't take away my license, but they'll take away my ability to use a license because they're all like within like one group. So yeah, it's kind of annoying. I mean, even with like with prop firms now. So with prop firms, I have to tell them that I'm registered, and then a lot of prop firms actually don't want to use. Like I'm worried about it. I'm not really worried, but I'm curious if Apex is going to have some kickback because a lot of these prop firms they don't want you to win, right? So if you're registered as a professional trader, they're going to know that you actually can be profitable, and they might put some more restrictions because they make you sign a form and all this to indicate that you are a professional. And yeah, it's annoying. All right, guys, I'm gonna step away for 1 second. There's no entries here right now. The next target entry is gonna be at 7:12, so we have like about 12 minutes till then. There's an MPSV2 pattern that's starting to set up here, but there's not going to be an entry. The reason for that is because there's a higher low right here and there's no lower low, so it's not going to line up for my entry. But I'll step away for 1 second. I'm gonna grab some water and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Yeah, there's an MPS pattern which came up right here, guys. So buy signal retracement confirmation. So if you were looking to take an MPS V2, this would be an MPS V2 entry, not one that I mean, obviously, I'm not looking at the MPS V2. I'm mainly looking at the MPS V3. Um, Again, if this was an MPS V3, it would have been avoided or skipped for me personally because we have the higher high structure right here, right? So this is a problem in a sense. It's not a big problem, but it's a problem because we're in this structure right here, which is considered a resistance or supply or whatever you want to call it. I just call it structure. This is what may happen. Price may reject down here and come back down, right? It doesn't necessarily have to happen that way. Price can easily push up and continue climbing up, but this could be a trap in either direction. Yeah, Sam said skipping MPS as it could be a trap. Probably a good decision there because, like I said, this could be a double top because it's within structure. Plus, the volume here is starting to die down a little bit. Um, let's see. Let me scroll up real quick. Glenn is asking, are you doing market orders now, Sean, or limit orders? I'm probably, for the most part, I'm doing market orders because I don't want to miss the trade. I know it kind of sucks with the slippage, but it doesn't seem that this like the slippage is as bad as it was last year. So I'm I'm using market orders at the moment. Yeah, Dejan said, yeah, she's right. It's done. This is the whole week with the flickering momentum before the candle. I agree too, Dejan, with that opening. See, Sam is looking for some FEGs. Rav said, every time I try to sign up to the Discord, it kicks me out. Here, let me give you the link again, Rav. It should be okay now because we turned off the kicking, um, we turned off the kicking thing. Like it's not kicking people out anymore. So there's a link for the Discord. So it shouldn't kick you out. I think it was bugged, so it's kicking people out when it shouldn't have. But if you use the link right there, Rav, you should be pretty good. It's good to see you, Rav. It's been a while. Hopefully your family's doing well. I haven't seen you. I know you're in here, but I don't see you talk as often. If you guys remember Rav, he's been in the group well, he was in the group a long time ago. I think during pre-COVID time, right? It's always good to see a lot of old faces here. Some of you guys were here, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, and you guys kind of did your own thing and came back. It's always good to see people come back. I mean, I must be doing something right, right? If people come from 10 years ago and then they leave to go to another group and they do some stuff and they don't like it and they come back. So it's good to see old faces. All right, we have a sell signal right here, guys. This sell signal is invalid though, so it's not going to be one that I'm looking to take. If you guys want to take it, I will look for the possible MPS V3 setup here. We do have the higher high, and we'll kind of see where it ends up going from here. Thanks, Masij. Yeah, Masij said the bot shouldn't be kicking anymore. Makes sense. How have the results been so far, Masij, for your I guess for your auto trader from the strategy? Has been pretty, I mean, it seems pretty good because I've every time you mention it, it's been doing pretty solid. You see me scroll up. There we go. Thanks. Thanks for doing that. All right, Masij. Yeah, Masij said one contract on all strats for the past 2 weeks made 19K. Nice, nice. Now it's amazing. I figured, I mean, here's the thing, like with the strategies. So here's the downside for applying it manually is that it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because there's a lot of different entries, but the problem is they don't always come up, right? Especially within the short span of period. So if you're paying attention to just one, you're gonna miss the other. Masih is taking all of them, right? So since he's taking all of them, he's able to yield a lot more profit. Are you taking one trade per day, Masih, or are you taking just whatever comes up? I'm assuming it's got to be more than one, right? Because 19,000 in 2 weeks. That's for with one contract. That's you got to take more trades. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So Masij is taking every single entry that's coming up between 8:30 or market open until 8 o'clock. That's amazing. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah. So I guess, I mean, not that I guess, but that shows that the strategies work, right? It's just you got to find, like, for me, I'm sticking to one strategy and I'm taking one entry per day because I'm doing it manually. But if you were to take every single entry that comes up for all the strategies between 6:30 and whatever 8, it shows right there that Masij has been done it. He's done it once or just one contract for 2 weeks and he's made 19,000. That's good to hear. So that just gives the strategies that we're applying here credibility and and shows that it is it's able to be done. It's just, I mean, obviously you can't be looking at 20 strategies at once. So yeah, it's awesome. That's cool. I wonder if there's a way you could do that, right? Where you could have all the strategies. I don't know if is there a back test that you can do that, Masish? It's probably going to take up a lot of code though. Like basically what you're doing with all the entries, but then have them all in one back test and just see what the profitability is long term. Oh, we already did, Steven. I think you missed the whole thing. Yeah, I figured Masish. It's a lot of code. Yeah, it's a ton of code. So yeah, Steven, we already made the announcement. You were logged off for a little bit, but we already talked about it when you were gone. Here, let me see. So he's shared his entries here. Let's see what he had to share with us here. Oh man. So basically, this is what I mean about Steven's really good at picking losing trades, right? I don't know what it is, but yeah, every time he trades, he loses. And he didn't get this from me, so don't associate this with me. This is Steven's own trading on his own. He he really sucks. I mean, you don't suck at trading gold. You're good at picking the trades that suck, Steven. That's what I meant to say. You're um you're a good loser. That's what it is, in a sense. You're good at picking losing trades. So I think you should do the same thing, Steven, what I mentioned, right? Like use whatever analysis you want to use, but do the opposite of that. Like do the complete opposite of what you're doing. And yeah, you might be able to do well with that. Yeah, Nick said we need the reverse Steven indicator. Um, yeah, I don't trade gold, so like Steven does that on his own. So don't associate these losses with me, guys, because it's not me. It's it's good old Steven. You should just do it yourself, Steven. I mean, you should set you do have a copier, so you should just set your copier to do the opposite. So I think what you should do is you should trade on a demo account, but then have your copier do the opposite. So whenever you take a buy in your demo account, your copier will sell. And if you say sell in your demo account, it'll take a buy. That way it'll work that way. Um, yeah, Steven wants to set up a copier for you guys to basically fade his positions. I don't know if anybody's going to be willing to do that, Steven, but yes, I mean it's a good idea for people who trust that you're bad at picking trades. It's only with gold though. So if you're going to do it, it seems like the only asset that Steven really is good at picking losers is gold. It seems like gold you lose all the time, Steven. Whenever you trade anything else, like well, if you trade this with this YM, you do pretty decent. But when you trade gold, that's uh that's your and this is all Steven's idea, guys. I'm not telling anybody to do that, but this is Steven. He's in the chat right now telling everybody you should take the opposite of his. So yeah. All right, so there's an entry right here, guys. This is the algo entry, but I did see there was a flickering momentum right here. So unfortunately, the 712 is not going to meet my criteria. And it looks like probably a good decision that we didn't take it because it's pulling back right now really hard. If you guys want to take this trade, I mean, feel free. I'll go and take a look at the criteria again real quick. So this entry right here is currently running. This is the algo entry at 712. It's the one that I currently have on my chart right now. So this has a max equity drawdown of about 9%. Probability is 50% for both buys and sells. Profit factor is 1.9. So it's not like super great. Let me go and I'll copy this over real quick. Oh, I deleted it. I just realized I accidentally deleted it. Well, I didn't accidentally delete it. I deleted my whole desktop. So let me just re-download it. Or can I just copy it from here? Okay, perfect. So, okay, this is the entry right here at 712. This here aligned with the with the 4020. So right here you can see at 712 it has a basically 1.9% profit factor. I mainly look at the profit factor because if you look at the profit factor here, you can already assume what the other numbers are going to be like. So when I look at the trades here, I now kind of just go straight to the profit factor. And then from there, I'm like, okay, if this is a 2.7, it's got to be above 50, 60%. And the max equity drawdown's got to be low. So whenever I look at these entries, I typically like to go straight to the profit factor. The one thing that I don't like about this here on the 60/30 is that the profit factor is not above 2, right? 2 is going to be one of my strict criterias for the most part that I like to follow. So, I mean, this probably would have been like an okay entry, but not considered a good one. Let me see how long this trade typically runs for so we know what to expect here. So this trade will typically run for, let me look at the average. It runs for about 11 minutes. It usually hits target within 9 minutes, and it usually hits stop loss within 14 minutes. So if this trade doesn't hit, I mean, it's just going sideways right here right now, right? If this trade doesn't hit within this point in time right here, 9 minutes, then it's probably best to either pull out for partial profit or just, I mean, maybe close it. The farthest you probably want to hold on to it is probably 11 minutes because that's going to be the average for the trade running. But if it goes anywhere past 11 minutes, it's probably going to lose. So with that being the case here, you want to be understanding that it's going to probably range for a bit. And if it ranges for too long, it's probably better to close it out, right? Because it's currently getting to that point where price is going to range and consolidate. And then the problem here is if you hold on to it for too long, it can just go up and then come back down and then go right back up. So yeah, we skip this trade right here again. I'm going to put it in the notes. This is a flickering momentum, no entry. Good decision of skipping that right there because look what happened. See how price spiked down right there? Not a good sign, right? The trade's still technically running, but like I said, right here, we had the entry at 712. We had a flickering momentum at 709. Even though it was for a buy, it was still flickering momentum at 709. So, we talked about this. This is the reason why it's important to avoid certain trades that have flickering momentum because stuff like this will happen. We're also in this structure that I talked about earlier, right? This is basically a triple top. So let me just show you guys real quick what I mean by that. See how we have three higher highs within this box right here? This is a triple top in a sense. So you want to be careful with this because this could be a buyer's trap, right? And look at this right here. See, this would have pissed me off. Look at how it's moving right now. I mean, it's not pissing me off because I'm not in the position, but if I was in the position, this would have pissed me off because look at how it spiked down. It literally spiked down to stop people out, and then it came right back up. So this would have really annoyed me in a sense because I would have been like stopped out and then went straight back up. There's another entry coming up right here at 720. Again, I don't know if this is going to be an entry that could be taken. I hate that this is the case here, but I mean, yeah, I could already tell this is going to be a no entry. The 720 is going to be a sell, right? What do we have right here? We have a buy signal. There's no sell signal here that's currently up. So this is going to be a no entry at 720. This was going to be my last opportunity to possibly get into this here for an algo entry. Um, this one's actually a really good one. So let me show you guys the criteria for 720. This one right here at 720, it has a 6% max equity drawdown. It has a total PNL for the past 2 weeks or 4 weeks of 39%. It has a profitability of 55%. So 55% probability of it winning. Prop factor is 2.44. A lot of the numbers here line up perfectly. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a no entry. And again, the reason for it being a no entry is because it's for a sell. And there's actually, I mean, this could actually be for a buy too. If you guys want to take this trade here, mm, I just realized the numbers here are really close. They're 54% for buys and they're 55% for sells. So it's really just off by 1%. So if this is something that you guys wanted to take, I mean, you could still take the 720 for a buy here. The only thing here that's still throwing me off is that there was a flickering momentum at 717, right? So our rule for the flickering momentum is we don't want to see a flickering momentum 3 minutes prior to entry. The entry's at 720. So if you do 720 minus 713, this is still within the 3 minute threshold, right? So if this is something that you guys want to take, I mean, feel free. I'm going to keep looking for my MPSV2 or MPSV3. But for the algo intro over here, I got to stick to the game plan, right? Game plan is no flickering momentums for me. And this right here is obviously a flickering momentum. Okay, nice to launch. I saw that you pulled out of that trade earlier. That was a good decision, right? Before you ended up getting massively screwed on that trade. All right, let me keep moving this up higher. So now we have the higher high up here. All right, guys, if you guys want to take this here for a buy, I mean, feel free. After this candle here is closed, this is going to be the 720 entry. This is one that I would have liked to take for the obvious reasons, right? Profit factor is 2.4 for the 60/30. It's 2.8 over here for the 40/20. The only main issue here is really the flickering momentum. It violates my criteria for 3 minutes prior to entry because the entry is at 720. So if you guys want to take this, I mean, take it at your own risk, but I'm not going to take it. I'm going to look for my MPS to follow it. Oh yeah, for the chatbot message, did you end up uploading the new one? I know people were asking about it. It was that day when you had class on Tuesday. So not sure if you uploaded the new version of it. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Masija. I figured you didn't remember. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so if you guys want the chatbot, Masij is going to be uploading it today. So if you guys are part of the Discord, you guys can get access to it. Let's see. All right, I'm scrolling up to review the chat. So Rev over here asked earlier if the green candle on a red momentum invalidates MPSV3. Yes. So if you guys ever get an invalid signal like this one right here, what's a green candle within a red signal, that makes it's not a valid momentum. So yes, that is correct. It doesn't, I mean, it depends on the person. For me, it's not considered a valid momentum, so it doesn't meet my criteria. But depending on what you guys want to apply, if you guys want to apply using that criteria or not, you guys have a choice, right? Um, all of my strategies are just the foundation of like what I created. If you guys want to change things up and swap out requirements, take requirements out, put requirements in, you guys can do that. It's all possible. That's how Daniel came up with the MPSV3, right? MPSV3 is not something I created. It's just based off the MPSV2, but Daniel removed the trend requirement, and then I included, or he removed the trend requirement, included structure requirement, and then I included a couple other red flags with regards to possibility of trade kind of turning the other way. So Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of my strategies, right? My strategies are built to be very fundamentally basic, and then you can always change things to improve in your favor. So the 720 entry is currently running right now, guys. This is the one that I wanted to take. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into it, but this trade is currently running right now. Again, the reason why I decided not to take it was because of the flickering momentum right here at 717. Most of the time, the flickering momentum does help, but in some instances, it does the opposite, right? But for me personally, I prefer it. I prefer to follow it than not, especially because market volatility here is kind of flattened out a bit. So there was an MPSV2 right here, buy signal retracement confirmation on this green one. So if you guys are taking this as an MPSV2, this one already hit target a long time ago. Yeah, I'm gonna see the third TP of the day for the MPS. Let's see, Daniel said 721 on the 2040 would have met all requirements. First clean entry I've seen in a minute. Yeah, I could see that. See, this is the problem with the 4020. I like the 4020s, but the problem is that because the volatility is so high, like ATR was at 40, it like if it pulls back even just a little bit, it's gonna stop you out, right? That's the worst part. It's always like it's always like what you would hate to happen for your position. Like the trade could work out perfectly, but it'll just turn on you if it ends up turning the other way. But yes, the 721 right there was like a perfect entry, no retracement or anything, just straight to target. I'm gonna go and update the spreadsheet right now for 4020 because there's so many on here. And I haven't noted any of them yet. So let's see, 701 was for a buy. Where's 701 at? No flickering momentum there. Yeah, we got natural gas storage coming up shortly. Thanks, Sam, for the heads up. Let's see, the other Sam, or Cams, I'll just call you Cams. I know your name's Sam, but I'll call you Cams because that's your username. He's asking, does Masij take overlapping trades too? I believe so. I mean, if they're, or I guess you could answer that question, Masij. Yes. So yes, he does. I figured that was the case because your automation is just, yeah, you take all the entries that come up. So yes, Masij takes all of the entries, including overlapping trades. Whatever comes up, he takes it. All right, so back to 701 over here. Okay, gosh, yeah. So Masij said, but only if they're in the same direction. That makes sense because you can't hedge positions. If you guys try to take something that's opposite, it's going to close out of your first one and it's going to take the other one. So yeah, it wouldn't be possible because well, I don't think there's any futures broker that will allow you to hedge, like take a buy and a sell at the same time. It's a FIFO, so first in, first out. It'll close you out before it puts you into the other one. Anyway, 701 right here. I'm going to keep updating this. 701 for a buy. Obviously, this looks like it stops out. Yeah. And I'll show you guys a spreadsheet. This will show you that the 4020s aren't like as great as we would have liked them to be. It's unfortunate, but that they're just if the stop loss is too tight because the volatility is so high that you get stopped out before it actually goes in your direction. 703 is for a sell. 712 was for a buy. Yeah, there's a lot of trades here that hit. It's just they get stopped out before they hit. I don't think the 4020s are safe to take for the algo just yet. entry. I'm surprised the 720 entry is still running, to be honest, guys. This thing's been running for a while now. Yeah, see this? If you do a 40-20, you're gonna get stopped out a lot of the times because the stop is just too tight. The 60-30 is still running though. Or a lot of these trades, let me just recheck real quick. Actually, the 712 was a flickering momentum, so nothing there. 720 as well, momentum. This was a win. 725. No, there's a flickering momentum on that one. Okay. So this trade's still running right now, guys. I just realized there was an MPS V3 which came up right here. Totally missed it. Maybe it was a good thing I missed it. I don't like, oh, there's news right now as well. There's a natural gas storage. Yeah, probably would have been skipped because of the news. But yeah, there's one right here which came up. I wasn't looking at it, but I mean, I'm glad I didn't because it would have lost. Let me just review it real quick. Again, this trade's still running right now, and there was news right here at 7:30. So this is not a trade I would have taken because there was news. It looks like price is probably reacting to it. Yeah, right here at 7:30. So 7:30 we had gas stock change. It was positive, so it is pushing price to the upside. The trade over there would have been for a sell, so that's kind of why price pushing up here would have been screwed on that trade specifically. But anyways, let me just look at this real quick. I just want to make sure all the criteria here was met. I mean, yeah, it looks like the criteria here is all completely met for the most part. Sell signal, higher high, retracement, confirmation, but then news right there at 7:30 right after. And it looks like price here is pushing up in the direction of that news. Man, looks like I'm not getting an entry today. The first one hit though, the 643. All right, let me see. I'm gonna put the spreadsheet over here real quick. All right, here's the spreadsheet. So looking at this so far, there were no entries here for the most part. I mean, this one did work, the 643, but obviously it didn't take it. It was a flickering momentum. So let me just go back and take a look at that. The 643 right here, which came up, it's for a buy. We had the flickering momentum right at 642 and 643. So obviously that'd be a no entry right there. But that trade did hit. Other than that, there's nothing else here. So there's actually no entries for the day. So zero entries over here for the 60-30. And then over here for the 40-20, there's a couple entries right there, but for the most part, no entries. So if you're looking at the target entries right here, it's actually at break even for 40-20. And for the 60-30, there just hasn't been any entries. I mean, well, I mean, there's one entry on Monday, but that was about it. So we took the entry over here on Monday. There's entries listed, but for the target entries, there's only so many. All right, let's go back to TradingView. All right, there's not really much going on here. As you guys can see, price just going back and forth, back and forth. A lot of flickering momentum, which is coming up. We have one, we have two more entries coming up with the 40/20. We have one at 736 and we have one at 746. So I'll keep following here. I'll see if there's anything that may come up, but I mean, I guess we'll see. And this thing's flat, super flat. Actually, so I just saw that right now. Daniel mentioned I marked it up on the wrong candle. It was at 721 this one, so that one actually would have lost. So it's okay that the 40/20s here are losing, guys, because it is indicating that we shouldn't shift to the 40/20 yet, right? We're still at 60/30. There's not a lot of entries, but there are not a lot of losses either. So that's kind of the main thing here that we're more concerned with. It's really identifying which one's going to work best. The data showed that the 60/30 is obviously the better option, but so this one here is actually a loss. Yeah. So I'm not getting anywhere near the 40/20s anytime soon. Sticking to the 60/30s for the moment. But the MPS V2 is going to be supplementing. So even though we're not getting any of these algo entries right now, I will be applying obviously MPS V2. I don't know if you looked at the statistics, but what did you find a strategy that had the highest probability, Masish, with regard to like the scripts that you developed? I'm sure you took it like a glance at it, so I'm not sure if you saw anything specific. I feel like the MPS V2 is probably going to be the best option. I did see the breakout V3 did have a good option, good probabilities too. But I guess we'll see. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So Masish said there's no ways too much criteria. Let me scroll up real quick. Yeah, Daniel mentioned the V3 Sean Wiki lost. It's one of the trades I mentioned about you checking the 3-minute candle. Entry was for a sell, but 3-minute candle was green. Yeah, I was kind of looking at that as well. So let me scroll down real quick. Yeah, Masij said, if anybody's wondering, I took these three MPS, one breakout continuation, two MPS or two pivot scalps, one Ichimoku, and one SR breakout zone for 7 wins and 2 losses. Okay, solid. Cool. Yeah, Talanji's still in that 720 entry. Hoping it hits for you, bro. I think so. Like I mentioned for that 720 entry, this thing's been running for a long time. So again, looking at the statistics down here, this shows that this trade doesn't really, it's not supposed to go for this long. This is unusually long for the trade. Let me go over here real quick. Okay, so you can see down here the winning trades usually hit within 11 minutes. The losing trades usually hit within 9 minutes. So, or no, sorry, that's not the time. Usually, okay, the 720 is actually a lot longer. So the trade typically on average would run for about 14 minutes. Right, so this right here is going to show you that this is the usual time for it to run, 14 minutes for both buys and sells. The wins usually hit within 11 minutes, which is a lot shorter right here. And if you hold it longer to 18 minutes, which is it's at that point, this is usually where the trade loses. So you're about to reach that criteria pretty soon after a minute, which makes it a lot more trickier than you might anticipate. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I probably would have just pulled out for a partial profit, pushes back up because it's been running for too long. I mean, this is the data for the past basically month, for about the past 4 weeks. Um, these are the averages for how long it lasts. Sometimes it lasts longer, sometimes it lasts shorter, but for the most part, once it passes 11 minutes, I think at that point it's like it does kind of, and yeah, it came down right there. So it was exactly on point. See how I said the losing trades? If you hold it longer than 11 minutes, it's probably going to lose. And that's what happened right here. I mean, it wasn't a trade that I would take because there was flickering momentum at 717, but still, it's actually pretty crazy how spot on it is, right? So like right here, this is 18 minutes, and you can see here it was exactly 18 minutes for whenever it loses. So I think this is like a good criteria to probably look at. One thing that I saw with my research and stuff like that is whenever you're looking at this criteria, you want the winning trades to have a higher average. Like you want it to lose quicker, but you want it to win longer. And if you have that, it typically is going to make a lot more sense with the now I'm kind of curious. Let me go to like what had a high profit factor here. I mean, this one had a high profit factor, but it's still lost. Let's check the last one. The problem is a lot of these trades after 7 o'clock, they all last a long time because the volatility is super flat, right? So this one over here, you can see this is also not a good one because it's 9 minutes for losing trade, 13 minutes for a winning trade. Let me check the one at 643. See, like this is what you want to see here. You want to see the winners be higher and the losers be slower. That's what happened with this trade right here at 643, right? So this trade over here hit pretty nicely. And that's a criteria that I've just seen over time and time again. I've seen that whenever the winning trades are longer, minute-wise, versus the losing trades, it usually wins more than it doesn't. And you can ask, AI about this. This is how I find the like these numbers and stuff. I ask AI these numbers like every day. Every day I prompt it like, hey, what should I look at? What's going to work best? What's going to improve my next following trade? The problem is a lot of these trades they come up, but I can't take them because they don't meet my criteria, with regard to the flickering momentum. Same with the 720 right here. There was a flickering momentum there. So um, thankfully it prevented us from getting into that trade there specifically because it would have lost. Okay, anyways, back to what we're looking at over here. So the 636 over here, which was okay, so 636 came up right here. Let's see, did this trade win, this trade lose? Nope, stopped out before it pushed up. Let me go over here to the spreadsheet again. So the 4020 is not having a good day today with regard to the 4020 entries. Let me clean this up. We're pretty much done with those. I just want to clean up the chart as much as possible. All right, so with this being the case, I'm going to be looking for a possible MPSV2 here. I'm going to try not to miss it like I did last time. The only issue here, actually, okay, never mind. I take that back. There's a lot of issues here. There's not going to be an MPSV2 entry here for me unless we push above this structure. Reason why I say that is because we have a higher high right here. This is one of my criteria, right? If we have an entry here for a buy for MPSV2, there can't be a higher high in the way of it. And there is a higher high in the way of it, of course. So the only way I could take this entry is if price pushes above here and provides me entry above this area, right? But here's the next problem. If it does push above there, it's going to create a new higher high over here. So either way, it's going to invalidate it. But you guys can see price here has been kind of chopping up for the past, I guess, 30 or 40 minutes or so within this area. You don't really want to take directional entries with this type of market, right? because it's not directional. I drew up structure right here. This is based off this higher high candle, and then I drew structure down here based off this lower low candle. So it's pretty obvious the chop that's going on right now. Um, yeah, I mean it's kind of pointless to take trades right here within this area and this zone. Let's see. Fire Learner said, "Hey, I'm new to this, so I could be doing something wrong. My trading view seems to be 10 minutes behind. Could there be a reason for this?" So you have to connect to, you either have to pay for the market data or you have to connect to an account. So if you have a TradeOvate account, like what Sam mentioned right there, log into your TradeOvate and then refresh your chart. It should set it up to have this. You want to see up here, Fire Learner. Look at the top here. It should say market open. Yours probably is yellow and it says markets delayed 10 minutes. So for me, I pay for the data. It's like $5 if you guys want to pay for the data, or if you have a TradeOvate account, you could also just log into your TradeOvate account. Yeah, there's two ways of doing it. I pay for the data because I have multiple charts open. I mean, I probably don't even need it because I'm usually just trading on one account. Um, but yes, that is how you get the real-time data. Thanks, Sam, for your input on that. Sam said sell sweep for me. If it traps, I'm done just watching now. Yeah, so Sam was looking for a sweep up here. See, the thing with the market right now is that it's so bullish, though. It's so bullish that like you'd expect price to keep pushing up, but it's like it's stuck in this chop right now, obviously. Um, all right, let's check the chat real quick. Yeah, Talanji was mentioning about the MPS and forget it, flickered momentum. Yeah, Masij said you can't really cherry pick because some will be good at different times. It's random. That's why I'm taking all of them all the time. Yeah, I agree with you, Masij, as well. Masij is trying to be honest to answer your question. There's not only one profitable strategy; they're all good. Over the past 2 weeks, I've taken every single strat at least two or three times, and they all have a good win rate. Yeah, no, that's really what it is. Um, Yeah, that's really what it is. So like what Masij mentioned is that there's no one strategy, right? I mean, I could list all the strategies for you guys here. So let's just go over all the strategies that I have. So if you guys have the script is available to you guys if you guys do have access to the Discord. So if you guys are in the Discord, there's almost like 20 strategies here, right? So like this is the Cody Kai Pivots Master. This has the MPSV2, Pivot Scalp, Intraday, Swing. It doesn't matter which you want to apply, but they all work to some extent. The profitability here is there. So if you like do this within a 30-day range, of course. Um, which do you have a specific TP stop loss you're using, or are you using an ATR based Siege? I'm just curious to see like what okay, so you have ATR based then, right? Okay. Or does it adapt by itself? When you set these up right here, this is the question I wanted to ask you myself too. When you set these up aggressive, moderate, conservative, this stuff doesn't matter down here, right? I'm assuming because it's supposed to change it for you or it's supposed to Oh, okay, okay. You have to press custom. So basically when I press custom, then this stuff will work, right? Okay, gotcha. So all that stuff is preset. Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. Okay. I'm assuming you use moderate, right? Or do you use aggressive for yours? Yeah, let's see. So, gotcha. Highest for each. So when you change the preset, does that change the statistics down here? Oh, okay. I figured it out. We it makes sense. So let's just go to regressive real quick. I kind of want to see what it looks like. So 2.9. Does it tell you what the settings are though? So that's what I was curious about. So like if we go to regressive, I'm like curious what TP stop losses it's actually using. I know you mentioned it adapts. I don't see the box right here. That's why. Let me see. Oh, okay. I figured that was the case because it's automated, so it kind of just does it by itself. Oh, that's weird. So now the box shows up. For some reason, when I go to regressive, I don't know if it, okay, it's still there. Oh, I see what it does. Okay, so the position and the risk kind of change right here. That's what I was trying to see. Yeah, that's pretty aggressive, right? 20 point stop loss, 79 point TP. And then let's see, moderate. Okay. So you guys can play around with this. I mean, I haven't played around with it enough, but it looks like, I mean, for the most part, yeah, it's pretty intuitive. Huh. Yes, it looks like sometimes when I change it to a different, let's go back to conservative. Hmm. I mean, you guys have to refresh it. Maybe it's just like a little bug, or maybe it's just, okay, there we go. It's just laggy. My trading view's laggy. So yeah, okay, this is cool because now I can kind of see where it sets the targets and stuff. So it looks over here from conservative, it kind of sticks it to like 1 to 1. Oh, that's only for the most recent trade. Is that what you're saying? I see. Yeah, so the only way to really let this kind of do its thing is it'd have to be automated, right? Because you can't really follow it live. Gotcha. Okay. No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I have it set right here. I mean, obviously the highest profit factor is probably going to be, it's here on that's 25. See, I think the best part about using this, and I'm going to use this to kind of just go back and forth and just kind of see where things are at. But I think the best thing and the best part about this here really is just it's to see what the overall market's looking like in a sense. So I'll let this load up in a second. But again, there's no entries here right now at the moment. There's a lower high right here. So there's a sell signal, but there's no higher high. So obviously this is not going to be an entry for my MPSV3. Um, there may be a possible entry here though. No, it's probably still not going to be an entry for me because of the because we have structure right here. But yeah, I think this here is very useful with identifying market state, machine state, this stuff here. Yes, Masij said I don't really get this MPS V3. I thought the whole point of MPS was to go with the trend. Yes, no, that is correct. So the MPS is mainly supposed to go with the trend. The difference, that's why I call it an MPS V3 and not just an MPS V2 with different criteria, is because it essentially changes the strategy completely, right? Because you're not really using the trend for the MPS V3, you're kind of just using market structure. So typically, if you're looking for an entry here, you're looking for price to move with the trend, right? So if you're looking for an MPS V2, which is what the strategy is supposed to be based off of. You're looking for price to continue like this, right? The MPSV3 mainly looks for micro shifts in the market, right? So like mini trend shifts. So like for example, if we took off the pivots, you're basically looking for micro shifts. Like basically, we have a quick trend to the upside, and then you have a quick trend to the downside. It's basically like quick shifts. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Masisha, it's more of a mini breakout from the trend. If anything, it's more of a mean reversion than trend. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Masisha. Sometimes it goes with the overall trend, but for the most part, it's basically mean reversion. That's why it's meant to be taken with like 40/20 because you just want to be in and out very quickly, right? You don't want to be holding on to it for too long. Because if it's going against the trend, you just want to get in and out for that quick mean reversion before it shifts back to where it's supposed to go, back up. Let's see. Hunter said, so for the master indicator, is there a way for all of us to automate it? Yes. So Masij, like he mentioned, yes, it'll be released soon for for free for everyone for the first month. Yeah. So guys, just another reminder. I'll be working with Masij. We'll be partnering together to make this available to everyone, right? As you guys know, because I am now because now I'm not able to operate with Cody Kai trades. There'll be something separate here where we'll be able to offer it's going to be under a different company name. It's not going to be, there's no Cody Kai tied to it. Basically, I can still run other stuff, but I just can't use the Cody Kai name because it can't be tied to the hedge fund. But yes, so with uh, with all these tools that we're showing you, basically, so the tools are mainly going to be for automation. I think that's what we're going to be mainly focused on, right, Masij? I think that's going to be the best way to kind of do it because if we give you guys the tools to use, the odds of people screwing it up is going to be almost guaranteed, right? Because there's so many settings here, and this is just like, I mean, it's just gonna be really easy for someone to screw things up. So like what we would do here is we would just allow people to basically automate, and then you would pay for access to it. So yeah, that's in the works. And it'll probably be available to you guys. We're gonna test it first. So I think what we should do is we'll test it, we'll let you guys kind of play around with it. If we find bugs, then we'll kind of fix it, and then over time it'll eventually be a paid product. Um, well, we want to make sure it works, right? So we want to make sure it works. You want to make sure you're able to make enough money to like basically recoup or not recoup it to cover whatever the expenses are, and then you'll be happy to pay for those because it'll work, of course. So, um, yes, if you guys want access to these tools and whatnot, just make sure that you guys have access to the strategies, and then you can apply yourself. But if you want the automation, it'll be completely separate. Yes, so Hunter said so there'll be two subscriptions. One, it'll be two separate because they're not going to be. There's two things. You can either have access to the tool so that you can apply the strategy yourself. Like, say, for example, if you wanted to apply whatever strategy here and you wanted the tools to see it on your chart like this, then, obviously you would need the indicators. That would be separate. But for the automation, that's going to be completely separate because that's going to be mainly kind of like Masija side of things. I'm just kind of helping with the administrative side of things. Like I'll be handling like the business side of things and like marketing and whatever it may be that I need to handle. And Masija is going to be handling a lot of the just the coding, right? The stuff that Masij wants to do. I'm sure Masij doesn't want to do business stuff because business stuff is really stressful and it's a lot of work. If you guys have ever started a business or you guys have handled a lot of other things, it's a lot of work, right? If you guys have ever started a business, you have to deal with the website, you have to deal with the videos, you have to deal with the customers, you have to deal with the marketing, you have to deal with the laws, you have to deal with, there's a lot of things that you have to do it when you're dealing with the business side of things. And that's why I kind of transitioned to the hedge fund side, right? I didn't really want to teach anymore because teaching is a lot of work and it's a lot of stress and it's a lot of this and it's a lot of that. That's why for me, for the most part, I'm okay with Cody Kai trades being shut down to the public because now I don't have to teach people, right? Like I don't even have the ability to teach people anymore because they basically shut me down. I'm mo mainly focused on just trading. So yeah, same with what Masij said. He doesn't want to do business. So that's where we kind of intersect, right? Like I give Masij ideas, Masij kind of builds off those ideas. We build these tools, we package it in a way that's going to make people profitable in a sense, and then we provide it to you guys. So, Hunter said, will the automation go public or will be kept more to the Discord? We haven't really thought about that yet, but yeah, for the most part, just the Discord. I mean, we're not really looking to share this with the world because it's so powerful, right? I mean, that's the thing. Um, if it's so powerful like that, it's better just keep it within us here. Yeah, exactly. You can see shit for a while. So we might release different tools to the public, but it's probably not gonna be as good as what we have here, right? The stuff that we're using right now, we want to keep this within us. Um, for the public, we might provide other algorithms or other automation bots, like strategies that people are familiar with, like the orb strategy, right? A lot of people love the orb strategy. Masij can create an automation of the orb strategy and people can just use that. But for us, we want to keep the good stuff here, right? We want to keep the good stuff in-house. Because we don't want to have edge decay in a sense. Yeah, yeah. So exactly, that's what Missy just mentioned. That's the main business idea. So the company will kind of branch off in another way where like we'll create automation tools for like the general public, which will be like what's popular, right? People love the orb, people love fair value gaps, people love supply and demand. We can create tools for those strategies and algorithms for that. That stuff will be available to the public, but my specific strategies like the MPS, the stuff here that everybody's looking at and applying, we'll keep this within us, right? Because we want us to be making the most profit, of course. You guys have been here for a while. Um, we want we want to stay in-house. So yeah, if you guys are here, you guys are great. You guys are gonna have no issues with that. But yeah, for the general public, it'll be a little different. We got to keep the sauce. We got to keep the secret sauce here within the group. All right, guys. So I'm looking over here. It's 8 o'clock. If you guys have any questions, I mean, it's cut off from my trading time right now. There's a possible MPS V2, which is setting up right here, but there is a higher high that's setting up as well. So it's not exactly going to be the entry that we're looking for. Let's see. So Masij said, yeah, then everyone can see how bad the orb is and how it doesn't work. We still have to give good strats to the public because they're going to be able to see back test results for themselves, not just K2 strats. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%. Message. Rev said I have to take my trades manually and use them in TradingView for analysis and take trades manually on NinjaTrader. So yes and no, Rev, because you can use webhooks to take certain entries. So for example, I think, well, this is basically what Masij is doing. I'm going to assume because I understand how webhooks work. But basically what Masij has is he has his TradeAvate account or whatever account he's using linked to his TradingView or he'll have the webhook sent over to Ninja. I don't know which way you're doing it. Mystige, for me in the past, I used to just have it linked to my TradeAvate or my TradingView, and it would execute the trades on TradingView. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's kind of what I just mentioned. So Mystige said he's doing a TV API. So basically, like the trade would execute here. If you're on NinjaTrader, you can still have the copier on. So if the trade executes on NinjaTrader, or if it executes on TradeAvate or TradingView, it'll also execute on your copier. There's also web-based copiers too. So there's other ways of doing it, Rev. I know in the past we only used NinjaTrader, um, but there's other tools that are out there now, like TradeSyncer and stuff like that. Uh, I mean, that might be something we can work on too with Mean Message. Maybe we can create our own copier that's like more reliable, like a web-based copier system. Yeah, yeah, that's what I said. That they're not reliable. That's why I wouldn't recommend it. Masij said we're not going to use any web-based copiers. They are beyond ass and so unreliable. I agree. That's why I've never recommended them to people. That's why I said if we were to use them, we'd probably have to create our own that's reliable and works well. Um, yeah, it's the same with like using a VPS, right? A lot of people mention like, oh, you should just use a VPS. There's a lot of risk with using a VPS with, connection issues and stuff like that. Like if you're having connection issues on your own computer, imagine being on a virtual server. Um, and there's going to be latency issues and stuff like that. So yeah, I would prefer to use, native platforms and your own actual computer. Yeah, exactly. And Masij said if you have to send the request to the VPS, it doesn't do anything meaningful because of the delay. Yeah, 100%. The latency, it's not worth it because you can get stuck in a position, you get trapped in a position, you're pretty much screwed. So guys, there's an MPS V2 which is currently setting up right here. If anybody's looking to take it, iPhone is asking does Tradify connect through TradingView? Yes, it does. It does. Nice. So Masij said he entered earlier. So Masij is already in this buy position right now. Gotcha. Where did you get in from, Masij? I'm just curious because for the MPS V2, you have to wait for the close, right? Or I'm assuming it might be applying a different. Oh, this one down here. So, oh, we got in on the momentum. Is that what happened? Yeah, because the trend was already established. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I figured that was the case. Doesn't that make the strategy different though, Masish? Or is there different criteria that you use for it? Because typically for the MPS V2, you would have to like have the momentum there. I guess what it does with the code that you created is that it does it all in one, right? So, because I know the requirements when I'm teaching you guys how to do it, technically, yes, this is correct. What Masish mentioned, because this meets the criteria. They're just in different order, right? Like I think for when I teach you guys, you're looking for this first, but if you're just going off the requirements, like combined together, this kind of shows this is the strategy, right? Because there's trend established, price retraces. So basically on this candle right here, all the criteria is met all in one. That's actually really cool. Yeah, no, that's really yeah. So that's what I was thinking. That was going to be not in PSV2, but it would be the momentum pullback scalp or the pivot scalp. I think yeah, that's the actual strategy, the pivot scalp right there. So that's cool that your tool does that because it aligns basically. I mean, all the strategies are basically the same, right? And I'm sure you've started to realize that when you started putting the code together. Um, Missy, you started noticing that a lot of these strategies are literally the same, it's just different entry points. So like this would be a pivot scalp entry, but if you waited over here, this would be an MPS V2. And that's why Masij has grouped those strategies together. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you caught that because a lot of people don't realize that. I always tell people, like, people always ask, do I use the MPS V2? Do I use a pivot scalp? Do I use a momentum scalp? They're all the same strategy. It's just in different entry points. Yeah, no, that's solid. But that criteria is actually a lot better now that you've so the thing with this is great because Masij has it automated, but if you're doing this manually, this would be almost impossible to get into because what happens is when it's pending momentum, you have to wait for it to actually close. And since it's automated, if it closes properly, it just takes the trade. If you're doing it manually, you have to actually wait for it to close, and then you could be a split second off for the entry. That's why I stopped applying the pivot scalp strategy to be like in general, because that's what would happen, right? The momentum signal would come up and then you'd have to think about it, whether you want to get into it or not. Sometimes you get into it, it closes. Sometimes you get into it, it doesn't close and you're screwed because you're in a position that you shouldn't have been in. So, anyways, this is MPS V2, just currently running. It's taking a while. Yeah, yeah, of course. So here, I'll make you where's Nisija? Let me make you the co-host. Or I could just unmute you. There you go. Okay, perfect. I'll mute myself.
Sean, I just want to explain. Basically, I figured out a thing where when the momentum signal, like you see that candle, the 57, I think it is, when the momentum signal is about like when it's halfway through the candle, the confidence rating of the momentum to hit is so high that you can enter. Like I made a script for that. Basically, it's almost guaranteed it will hit, even if it flickers in or out. There's certain criteria that you can use that will basically you can pretty much guarantee it will hit for the pivot scalp.
Nice, nice. So basically what you're saying is if it I mean you have like it's a confidence meter. If it pushes up and it's like halfway through to closing or if it's like, I guess it's about to close, it'll tell you whether it's going to push through and you can just jump into it, I guess early. Okay, perfect. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's something that'd be really useful too. I think that would work really well with not just, I mean, that would work well with a lot of things actually. It would work well with even the algo entries, right? Because the algo entry, sometimes we have an entry, uh I mean it's basically the algo entry in a sense. It's another it's similar to the momentum algo, but it's based off the actual momentum signal which is coming up. So if we do that with the trend, I mean it's super valid and useful, right? Like we could even use like not for this one specifically, but like say for example, like this one over here, like we had a pending momentum there. Let me lower this. We had a pending momentum there, and then if we had that confidence meter, we probably could have got in when it retraced back, right? Like say for example, a confidence meter was high, we had a pending momentum. We can just trail the like a limit order to fill it. So like if it pulls back even just a little bit, it'll fill it right there, but eventually it'll fill and we'll, can go right into profit. Yeah, exactly. So Masij said, I mean the way momentum indicator is set up, even if it flashes, it's guaranteed to close. Okay, I see what you mean. When you have above a certain confidence, it's complicated, but I figured it out yesterday. Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, that'd be a great tool. I think that was so the very original strategy, like the very first strategy that I created, guys, a long, long time ago, was the pivot scalp, right? Where it wasn't just a pivot scalp, it was a momentum scalp. Same concept where you're looking for price to follow through, like say, for example, this candle right here. The main problem that we used to have and this wasn't mainly for me, this was mainly for like other people who were trying to apply it, was that we weren't sure when it was going to close or not, right? Because sometimes you get a pending momentum and then it disappears. Kind of like what's happening right here right now, right? So like there's a pending momentum here, but we don't know exactly when it's going to close because it can show up and it can disappear. So yeah, no, if you have that tool, I mean, I'd love to like try that out because if that's the case, we can go back to like what we originally did, right? What I just mentioned is like the pivot scalp. So let me go over here and let's go to my main chart. I'll try to clean a lot of this stuff up because a lot of this stuff is like kind of unnecessary. Like the high-low indicator is not really going to be necessary. I mean, even the sessions might not be necessary. I don't know if you use that even with your trades, Masij. I mean, you might use the sessions, but if not. Okay, yeah, so it's built in. So I'll just leave that on. But like basically what we just talked about is like, yeah, you can get into positions very early. Like using this right here, I'm sure there was flickering momentums on this candle. And then if it, gave you the confidence meter when it was like halfway through, you can have like a pending order, just kind of a pending limit order waiting for it to pull back and just fill it. And then once it fills it right there, you're right in the position. So yeah, no, definitely. I don't know if you have that tool ready already, but if you do have it, I mean, it'd be cool to check it out. Because that's the case. If that's the case, you can literally just take the momentum signals. And I think, well, that's basically what the strategy is based off, right? All of my strategies are based off momentum. So it's always based off the momentum signals. It's just we use the trend as a confluence. So like for example, we have momentum pushing up, we're only taking momentum that's, going the direction of the trend. Uh So yeah, no, that'd be perfect. Okay, perfect. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Masij mentioned it's built into the master scripts, but he'll have one separate standalone. Yeah, no, that'd be great. Is that what this is right here for? Masij? Yeah. Oh, it doesn't show in state. Okay. Figured it'd probably be maybe in one of those. Yeah, yeah, I know. I think that thing, we'll just keep that for us right now, Masij. I think we should let's play around with it. Let's not make that open to the public just yet, or not just the public, but just the Discord in general. It's something I think we should probably work on, and then because if that's the case, then it's going to be best for like automation, right? Because that takes out the guesswork. Yeah, I feel like the biggest problem with a lot of people is just execution, right? You see the entry, you see the criteria, but are you able to execute on it? Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, Mystique said he was trying to he made it while he was trying to automate and it was the biggest issue. Yeah, the flickering momentum has always been an issue. I mean that's why for me when I see the flickering momentum, I'm like, okay, that's a time to like maybe not take a certain trade for like obvious reasons. But it does work and it does help in a sense if you're using it properly. All right, guys, it is 8:15. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Let's see, Hunter has a question here. Does it also look at higher time frames, better structure? Yeah, no, Masij mentioned that it's much more simple than that. Yeah, the thing with a lot of these entries here is that or not just entries, but strategies in general, is that you have to keep it simple. The simpler the better. Yeah, Masij mentioned, yeah, it kind of does the opposite of you, LOL. It gains confidence with those flickers. Yeah, no, so with me, yeah, I use these flickers to avoid the trade like if it's against like say for example like we had these sell momentums right because we don't want to go against the trend so like I'm always using these to identify where price may reverse like for example right here where it may reverse but having it for a buy side it's helpful so like let's just go over here real quick to like 750 where did it start coming up from 751 right so like we talked about this yesterday actually during the live session 751's where that those buy signals started flickering. See, like if we were in the direction of the trend, which we are obviously at 751, if we had that confidence meter showing that, okay, we could have entered at this point, yeah, we would have gotten in anywhere around this area, right? So this would be like our entry point, anywhere around this area because it kept flickering until it actually closed right there. Yeah, exactly. Like what so Masich said it flickering means that it was already confident. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I actually used to use that on the higher time frames. I used to trade on like the 1 hour or the 4 hour, and I would see flickering momentums. And if I see it keep flickering, I'm like, all right, cool. I should enter right here because eventually it's going to push up. So if you guys want to try that, I mean, I haven't really tried that, but like, yes, I think you can even do it on the higher time frames. You would just turn on the alerts, and then if it flickers in the direction of the trend, you're like, okay, if it keeps flickering here, or if it's been flickering here, it's gonna push up at some point. It's just a matter of time until it does. Yeah. So I think that'd be cool. Yeah, if you can set that up, and then also, well, I'm pretty sure you could have it work on different time frames, right, Masish? Because I think I mean, the 1 minute's always going to be ideal because the 1 minute's going to be more accurate than any other time frames. But yeah, I think, if you do it on like the 5 minute or even like the 10 minute or whatever it may be, it can also give you confidence that way. So let's just go to the 10 minute real quick. Yeah, like for example here, I mean, I don't have the flickering momentums, but yeah, if we had flickering momentum somewhere around this area, it could uh it could help. Yeah, Masicha, I want to run the MPSV2 on the 1 second. Yeah, and it could work. There's people in the group before. There was another guy in our group a long time ago. He used to apply it on the 10 second and 30 second. If you think about it, if you go down to that granular like level, it actually works really well still. It doesn't see this is the 10 second time frame. It actually works really well. So it's the MPSV2 right here. Like if you had that flickering momentum, whatever, on this Besiege, that would have been a nice entry, right? Because you would have it would have flickered and you're like, okay, boom, it would have entered right there, straight to target. And this is a 10 second time frame. So yeah, like you said, scalp demon for sure. Yeah, Besiege said I'm not gonna lie, the 10 second looks better than the 1 minute. I agree. It's way more consistent, right? With the swings. And if you're trading just strict momentum, it's like look at all these entries here. Whole bunch. But I'm glad that we covered that because now I'm like really curious about a lot of things here now. Um, everything is based off the momentum, guys. If we were to take everything away, we would just if we just base it off the momentum, I think you'd be good enough just with the momentum. Like you could take away the trend. Obviously, the trend makes things better. But if you were just to stick to momentum and you have the confidence that price is going to push in that directional or in that direction, then you can really just take trades in either direction for momentum. But obviously, the trend is going to make more sense because it's based off trend and momentum. So profits over here from Lila. Nice work, Lila. So she said her first day with over 1,000 in a month, even if it's 999, she doesn't post it. But here's Lila. She locked in 1,465 for the day. Great work, Lila. I wish I could say the same, but I wasn't able to take any entries for today, which is not a bad thing. I'd rather take no entries than take a loss. But yeah, I think that's gonna be where we're gonna wrap it up for the day, guys. All right, 8:20 right now. We've been on this for a while. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, great talking to you guys. Great with the brainstorming here, Miss Siege. I think that's great that you came with a tool. It's going to be very helpful, very useful moving forward. And yeah, Miss Siege said, okay, you got to go, Sean. Don't have time today to make the confidence stand alone. Yeah, just take your time, Miss Siege. There's no rush for it. It's exam week. So yeah, focus on your studies and we'll see you back here tomorrow. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session.